Eagle, had you thrown the Berg before you started throwing the range?
I mean, just messing around, but I kind of knew just by watching people throw that disc.
How the flight was?
Yeah, I'm like, oh gosh, that's a cheater disc.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Salut, bonjour, and welcome back to JustDisc. Today, we're diving into a topic that continues to cause quite a stir in the disc golf community, the Kastaplast Berg. Love it or hate it, the Berg is an approach disc that has changed the way many players think about their short game. But despite its growing popularity, there's still a lot of skepticism surrounding this disc. Why do some people hate the Berg so much, and why are they wrong? Well, let's dive in. First up, let's talk about just how the Berg feels in your hand. One of the most common complaints I often hear is that the Berg feels weird or uncomfortable when you first pick it up. It's true, the Berg has a unique feel. It's deep, almost like a putter, with a blunt nose and a super flat top. For players used to sleeker, faster discs, this can be off-putting at first. But here's the thing, different doesn't always mean bad or worse. In fact, that distinctive feel is part of the reason why the Berg is so effective and unique. It's designed to give you ultimate control and prevent those unwanted skips and slides on the green. So if you're finding the Berg uncomfortable, you simply need to give it more time to get used to its flight, but also how it feels in your hand. Next up, let's talk about how the Berg is thrown and the issues some people have when trying to throw this disc correctly. Some players try to throw the Berg similar to other approach discs, which results in poor throws. That's because the Berg is a disc that thrives on being thrown with speed. If you don't throw it with enough speed, it's not going to perform the way you want it to. When thrown hard, like it's supposed to be, it simply goes where you want it. And if you're slightly off your line, it doesn't deviate too much to the left or right. The problem here is that many players don't realize this and don't throw it fast enough, leading to poor results. This misconception breeds frustration, making players think the disc is underwhelming and not performing the way it should. The Berg, therefore, needs to be thrown with speed, and once some players realize this, they'll get the proper flight and that much more control, and I can promise you it'll become a staple in their bag before you know. The next point that really fuels the hate of the Berg is that a lot of people don't see the touring pros carrying one in their bag. I mean, why is that? If it's such an amazing approach disc, why aren't we seeing it more on the professional tour? Well, what some people don't realize is that Kastaplast is still a relatively small brand, and while they're growing, they don't have the same sponsorship power as some of the bigger companies. So a lot of these pros on tour sponsored by Discraft, Inema, whoever, they actually can't carry a Berg in their bag. It's not part of their contract, even if they wanted to. So it has nothing to do with the Berg being a bad disc, they just aren't permitted. Now, of course, even if professionals were able to use any disc in their bag, it wouldn't suit everyone's needs, and that's fine. But for the rest of us, especially those who need a reliable approach disc that just sticks where you throw it, the Berg is a fantastic option, if not the best for an approach disc. The next point we'd like to make regarding hate towards the Berg is probably one of the most common problems or issues we find people complaining about online. And it's that people think that the Berg is a cheap way to play disc golf.
Eagle, had you thrown the Berg before you started throwing the range?
I mean, just messing around, but I kind of knew just by watching people throw that disc.
How the flight was?
Yeah, I'm like, oh gosh, that's a cheater disc.
Yeah, it is. It is.
They argue that because it simplifies approach shots, you just throw it and it stops, that it's somehow less skillful. Unfortunately, we completely disagree with this. In a sport where accuracy is everything, having a disc that you can trust to do exactly what you want it to is invaluable. Sure, the Berg might make some shots less complicated, but that doesn't mean it takes less skill to use. If anything, it allows you to focus more on your form and placement, which is the real challenge in disc golf. Finally, let's address the elephant in the room, one of the main reasons why there's so much hate for the Berg, and that's change. Disc golfers, like many other enthusiasts, can be resistant to new ideas, especially when it comes to something they're passionate about. The Berg challenges traditional ideas on what an approach disc should be. It's not fast, it's not flashy, and it doesn't require a big arm to use effectively. For some, that's a hard pill to swallow, especially when they've already figured out what approach discs work for them. They might say they prefer the challenge of touchy approach shots with other discs, but let's be honest. If a disc can help improve your game, why not embrace it? I mean, let's just look at the history of golf to compare how their approach clubs have changed. Back in the day, the pitching wedge was the only option for approaching the green. It was the standard for approach shots. But then, over time, the sand wedge came along, giving more loft, and then the lob wedge. These new clubs allowed golfers to add more spin and control to their shots, helping the ball stop on the greens more easily. At first, there was a lot of skepticism, pushback, and really hate towards these new clubs. Traditionalists didn't like the idea of changing what already worked for them. But of course, as time went on and they started to see the advantages of these clubs, they began to use them more and more, and now all golfers have these clubs in their bag. And just like it happened in golf, the resistance to change is beginning to fade over time as more and more players see that this disc is definitely a game changer. Well, there you have it. 5 reasons why the Berg hits so much hate, why they're wrong, and why people are missing out. If you've ever been on the fence about trying this disc, trust us, give this disc a fair shot. It's seriously a disc that should take your approach game to the next level. We swear by it, all of our friends carry it, and it's definitely made an improvement on our game. Of course, if you got something out of this video and you enjoyed it, you know exactly what to do. Thanks as always for watching JustDisc, and we'll see you in the next one. Merci beaucoup et à bientôt.